In the idyllic English countryside, the golden morning sunlight filters through the leaves, casting dappled shadows on the ground. A young boy named Charles, with his knees caked in mud, is crouched in the garden, his eyes fixed intently on a tiny beetle. The beetle, like a living gem, glistens between the rose leaves. It slowly climbs a petal, its movements deliberate and unhurried. Then, with a sudden flutter of its wings, it takes off into the bright sky, disappearing from sight in an instant. "Where are you going, little traveler?" Charles whispers, his voice filled with a sense of awe and curiosity. The silence that follows is deafening. Yet in that quiet, a question begins to take root in his young mind. This question, though seemingly insignificant at the time, will one day shake the very foundations of the scientific world. Charles has a special place in his heart for these little creatures. He has a collection of wooden boxes, each lined with soft paper, where he keeps the treasures he finds in the forest. There's a green beetle that looks like a polished emerald, and a black one that shines like midnight glass. He carefully names each one, sketches their unique features, and studies their every movement. While other children are out in the fields, chasing balls and shouting with glee, Charles is on a different kind of quest. He chases after the fluttering wings and crawling shapes, in search of the tiny mysteries that nature has so carefully hidden. At dinner, his sisters look at him with amusement. "Another bug, Charles," they tease, their laughter filling the room. His father, however, looks up from his book and sighs. "You'll never make a living by chasing beetles, my boy," he says, his voice tinged with disappointment. Charles lowers his eyes, a faint blush creeping across his cheeks. But despite his father's words, he can't help but smile. Deep down, he knows that he's not just chasing beetles. He's on a journey to uncover the truth, to understand the secrets that nature holds. One autumn morning, the air is thick with the smell of rain and fallen leaves. Charles sets out on an adventure, armed with a jar and a net. He makes his way deep into the woods, where the forest comes alive with a symphony of sounds. The buzzing of insects, the rustling of leaves, and the soft whispering of the wind create a magical atmosphere. He kneels beside a fallen log and gently lifts the bark. Beneath it, a hidden world is revealed. Ants march in orderly lines, worms wriggle through the soil, and beetles, like hidden treasures, glisten in the dim light. And then, he makes a discovery. A rare beetle, as blue as the summer sky, crawls across his hand. He's about to place it in the jar when another one appears, and then another. In a moment of panic and excitement, he pops one of the beetles into his mouth to free up a hand. But the beetle doesn't stay put. It wriggles around, tickling his tongue, and he bursts out laughing. He sits under the oak tree, his laughter echoing through the woods. He laughs so hard that tears stream down his face and his sides ache. That day, he learns an important lesson. Science isn't just about being serious and methodical. It begins with laughter and mistakes, with a willingness to take risks and explore the unknown. As the years pass, Charles grows into a young man, but the wonder that once burned so brightly in his eyes still flickers undiminished. When he receives an invitation to sail around the world on a ship called the Beagle, he doesn't hesitate for a moment. He packs his notebooks in his magnifying glass and sets off on a new adventure. The sea wind is strong and salty, and it fills him with a sense of freedom. On the faraway islands he visits, he encounters creatures that he has never even imagined. There are giant turtles that seem to carry the weight of the world on their backs, strange birds with beaks of every shape and size, and plants that are unlike anything he has ever seen before. Each night, as he lies under the stars, he writes in his notebook, "Why are they all so different yet somehow the same?" He wonders. He feels the same sense of excitement that he once felt as a boy, with beetles in his hands. He realizes that nature is like a book, and every creature, every plant, is a page in that book. The stories are written in their wings, their shells, and their bones. And those stories whisper a truth that will change the course of scientific history. Life is not static. It changes, it adapts, and it connects in ways that are both mysterious and beautiful. Back in England, Charles sits in his study. His shelves are filled with sketches and fossils, and in a small glass case, there's a single beetle. He smiles softly as he remembers the garden, the laughter, and the muddy hands. He remembers that moment when he held 3 beetles and discovered that curiosity has no limits. Now, he writes for the children of the future. He encourages them to look, to question, and to wonder. Because every great discovery begins with one small question, and one brave heart that dares to ask it. So, the next time you see a tiny creature crawling on a leaf, don't just pass it by. Look closer, because in that small, seemingly insignificant creature, you might just glimpse the secret of life itself. And who knows, maybe you'll be the one to ask the question that changes the world.